very exciting episode of
ZoeTv.
ZoeTv. And we are so lucky. We're lucky every week.
We are.
Are we not?
We're always lucky.
We're always lucky. But we have one special guest.
Yes, we do.
Not two.
No.
One, this entire show is devoted to one gentleman.
Right.
Who has
Two of us,
so much to talk about.
one of him.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So with that, we want to welcome Jeff Olson, our new, I don't know how to describe you other than the final piece of a puzzle that we have been trying to put together
Where have I been?
4 years.
Yes.
You've been the missing piece.
You are the one missing. Where'd you find him? Under the table?
It was scoured the desert of the Sahara, all over the Nile.
And that was the piece.
And it was like the puzzle piece when you're making one and you have a missing one, you can't find it, and then all of a sudden it appears.
It does.
And there
It's
was
magic. Jeff.
with
here I am.
this energy to him that we was like, this is our guy.
Good.
Excellent.
So Jeff, why don't we start with who you are, what you do, and start the show.
So thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Jeff Olson. I am originally from South Dakota, so I do not have any wonky accents and anything that sets me aside. But I came from South Dakota probably about 14 years ago to Arizona.
Wow, talk about change.
Very changed. Although, the snow yesterday was kind of a nice little thing up north. And
know.
Beautiful. See all the mountains driving in?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So, it's beautiful. I love it here. Obviously work in healthcare, more specific to the rehab setting, and have 3 wonderful grandchildren that I adopted here 2 years ago. So hence the gray hair. So don't judge me. But they're wonderful, and I'm very passionate about working with the seniors and in the rehab setting, and working with a very large, wonderful, captive audience such as Glencroft with its various levels of care. And I've been with Glencroft for about 14 years now. We initially was working on the campus through another company, didn't have the wonderful outpatient, but worked in the skilled nursing setting, got to know the campus very, very well and all of the different players, and enjoyed what we were doing, and had the opportunity to come back here just this last year, and so we're back. And even better, and a lot more fun little things coming. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get into those, let's go back up just a little bit with you and your company and talk COVID.
Yes.
Because it is kind of the elephant in the room when it comes to therapy, because so many people had a hard time getting into doctors and therapists. How was that like for you and your team?
So COVID was tough. I mean, it was tough on everybody, especially those folks that needed the care and they couldn't get to it, or there was, everything's telehealth now and virtual, and knock on wood, we're finally getting away from that and getting past that turn and back into some more in-person live things. But the company I work for is Health Pro Heritage. We have a lot of different entities going on in the Phoenix Valley area. We cover home health partnerships. We do outpatient services, skilled nursing. But COVID is something that we obviously are going to always have to deal with and always live with. We take all the precautions, infection control, make sure everything's wiped down. We mask up or encourage folks to wear masks if they so choose to. Taking the temperatures, we've all kind of gotten into this routine, I think, of prevention, that we just live day in and day out with. So.
Well, it's exciting to hear that, because we've all done it, had to go virtual with our doctors, right?
Right.
But you miss that personal connection of being able to see your doc or PT or whatever hands-on.
Especially physical therapy.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a little hard to do virtual exercises and all that.
Exactly.
But yeah, so everything is back in person. We've got a great staff here on the campus that can lead, exercises. Some really sharp tools that are going to be, good at helping with pain management and all kinds of different entities, and really providing a service to, ultimately keep everyone active and healthy and living in the setting that they're in. So that's our goal.
Well, what are the people that are on, and what do they do?
So we have Providence Place. We have a full staff over there serving the skilled nursing facility and the long-term care population. And then just recently in February, we opened up the outpatient clinic, which is over by the university education room. And so I've been busy, since February 1st, putting all the equipment and the new toys. We got all kinds of interesting, fun things to work on our patients, kind of tools in our toolbox, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
And it's physical therapy, but other therapy
Yes.
as well.
So we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, and
which
speech
is
therapy.
What's occupational
So
therapy?
physical therapy is obviously, larger muscle groups, balance, gait, or walking activities. Occupational therapy focuses more on dressing skills and being able to comb your hair, brush your teeth, being able to balance your checkbook, and activities of daily living, basically anything that involves that. A lot of times they deal with like carpal tunnel on the elbow or rotator cuffs and upper extremity dysfunction. We also have speech therapy on the campus as well, which is very great and unique. And Raquel, our speech therapist, is wonderful at not only treating swallowing difficulties, so if there's some choking or some difficulty eating foods or certain consistencies or taking medication and coughing on them, she can work with some of those strengthening activities for your swallowing, as well as any cognition or speech. If someone's had a condition that's knocked them back a bit, she can help with the speech aspect as well. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
great.
It's absolutely something that I know from ZoeLife's perspective of having that ally in the corner of somebody from the more clinical side, because I know a lot of my job comes back to dealing with residents and chasing down their therapist that they're working with off campus. So a lot of my days is actually on the phone. When y'all don't see me, I'm usually hunting down your therapist, trying to get charts and understanding where you're at in this place of a handoff. And because in the clinical space to the ZoeLife space is that little gray area where if you have a really seamless transition, it can be gold. I mean, it can just be amazing situation. And that's where I came from with St. Joe's Hospitals. We had that dynamic where you would have PT in the house of our exercise phys and our wellness programs. And one just bled into the other, and you had this smooth transition. And that's kind of what's been hard here and hard with COVID is that just that weird dynamic disconnect.
Yeah, and people don't have to leave. And a lot of people can't leave. So do you take insurance?
We do.
Do you take Medicare?
Yeah, so we take Medicare B, and then we have United Healthcare. We've got a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan that we're close to closing on and getting a contract with. So we have quite a different number of insurance plans that we can also accept, as well as the Medicare, and then private pay, obviously. But what's nice is, you mentioned that transitional care, and that transitional care model is really, I think, what sets us apart. Like you can go from skilled nursing, more acute care right out of the hospital from a knee surgery or hip surgery, go back home, and then we can follow you with the same therapy team directly back to the home, see them for home health if need be, and then, kick them over to the outpatient center. Follow up with outpatient for 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever is needed to do the fine tuning. And then the last step is the ZoeLife wellness piece to continue on and maintain, all of what we've come and accomplished.
Yeah,
So,
and that's when I'm talking about the piece of the puzzle, right? Like that, but having one of our own doing that.
I agree, and doing it right. So if someone that used to, like, they'd see their doctor and they say, oh, you need physical therapy, then they'd find a place close, and then they'd have to arrange
transportation.
That's all gone.
Absolutely.
They can get the very same therapy right here.
Absolutely. We still need a doctor's order, so we always want to include the physicians and make sure that there's a physician order, giving us the ability to, know on a diagnostic level what we're working with. So we get an order, from the physician, either one that you guys obtain or one that we can call with you to your physician's office to get. Once we have that, we verify the insurance, get all that information done, and then we set up the evaluation for the therapy team to, do the evaluation and set up that plan of care. And we set it up with you because, it's not what our goals are, it's what you want to accomplish from your therapy. So whether it's being able to go up a flight of stairs to go visit your grandchildren, or, be able to get in and out of a car so you can go get your groceries instead of relying on someone to bring them to you all the time. So we tailor those goals to what you want to be able to do and function.
Yeah.
Well, and because you have spent time with him and you know this, but I don't, and I'm assuming a lot of our residents don't know either, but let me ask you this. So if I'm a resident watching today, and I think, you know what, I've just got this stiff neck, and I know I need to go get it checked, but I don't really want to go to the doctor. I think I need physical therapy. Could they call you?
Yes.
Could you be the direct line? I mean, because That would be awesome.
I mean, not always. Sometimes you just, sleep on your pillow wrong and you have a kink in your neck. I mean, we want to make sure what we're doing is skilled in something that is going to have some value, So we can do an assessment. We can take a look at you and say, yeah, there's absolutely something going on here. Let's give your doctor a call. We would need to know the physician and where they're, where the residents are going, but we're happy to help initiate that and, make the call to the physician. They more than likely will. If they haven't seen the resident for quite a long time, they may want to do an office visit or have them be seen first, depending on what condition it is that we're asking for. But many physicians really trust and value physical therapy and occupational and speech therapy, and they rely on our judgment and trust us to that level, well, they'll a lot of times just give that order.
Well, and I know a lot of doctors won't do certain things, I'm speaking from experience, like a knee replacement or a hip replacement unless you've tried physical therapy.
Absolutely.
So my doctor, I couldn't even get an appointment with him until I had done. So.
And a lot of times the appointments are 3-4 months minimally out because they're that booked up. So we have what we call prehabs. So a lot of times if you know you're going to need a knee replacement or a joint replacement of some sort, the doctors a lot of times will recommend and almost require at some cases for you to go to therapy to get a good baseline of strength built up in the muscles above and below that joint. So that way when the surgery happens and they replace that knee, your recovery period goes from this far to this far, and you're faster out of the gate, you're recovering quicker, you've got that at least ground level baseline of strength built up to where after the surgery we just pick that up and continue on and get them well.
Wow. So. And I mean, that is the missing piece.
Yeah, it is. And we're so lucky because we're touching on in ZoeLife and the Performance Center already, especially in IL, we've got about 240, 250 residents that are active, but we're constantly taking new residents, doing assessments, and so we're oftentimes, as we're doing our own assessments, figuring out, man, this is a perfect candidate for real PT work that would then come back to us, but that has always been so difficult to accomplish, whereas now in our back pocket, we have that availability, right? And so we could do an assessment with you, and you're coming in doing your normal ZoeLife, and we're saying, man, there's something off here. Let me bring in some more eyes. And right there in real time, we can get some more eyes on them, which is half the battle. And then having the Performance Center and having your clinic space. Talk about that for a minute, because you don't see what we've created here in senior living much.
I would encourage anyone to come down and take a look at it. It's room number 2, right where they're probably familiar with it, coming down and seeing you already down there.
Between Performance and the university in that
wellness clinic,
in that little corridor.
Perfect.
So we're there 9 to 4 by appointment. So because we have just started this program, eventually my idea is that we're going to have a couple, 2 or 3 staff down there full time, only doing the outpatient. But because we're ramping up to it, we're on the campus, tending to Providence Place and other residents and other things going on. But we always attend either a phone call or an email. We'll be on the website soon, I know. But our clinic down there, we have the office space that we're leasing. We'll do the evaluations in there just because it's more private. We can talk about what's going on, take some measurements and muscle testing, really spend some time, evaluating what's happening. And then from there, we'll do some treatments in there. We may use the Performance Center. The nice thing with a campus like this, where essentially this entire campus is the resident's home, whether it be, on this end of the campus or this end, it doesn't matter. This is all considered their home. So because of that, we can treat in the Performance Center. We can treat in the residents' rooms if we want to assess, how are you doing getting in and out of your bed? It's hard to mimic some of the things that we want to work on. So we may go to the room or the apartment to work on some specific things, getting in and out of the shower, making sure that they can, take a shower safely, making sure they can get in and out of the bed, up and off of the couch or the recliner chair. So we have a lot of flexibility and a, means to be able to touch all those areas that we have to. So.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can staff see you?
Yes. So we do take, obviously the same insurance plans and Medicare. A lot of times on some of these campuses, we will even do work comp cases. So if someone does hurt their back, one of the CNAs or something, if there's a work comp claim, we work it out with the facility where they receive treatments, which is nice because, if they're trying to work while they're recovering, they can maybe take off an hour of their time and come down and see us in the midst of the day, continue to work on their recovery and get back to work sooner.
That's what I think, like on their lunch hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I am loving this. Okay, and also, my other thing, have you seen this model, and I know working with Steve's, I'm sure you haven't seen a ZoeLife model, but have
No.
you seen this connectiveness at any other senior?
Yeah, I mean, to a smaller degree. I think ZoeLife is very unique and very much special in that it is so grand and so involved, at the assisted living, the independent living, and the aquatic programming and everything that's going on. And they've got a very large captive audience that loves participating, which is going to make this such a successful marriage between the skilled rehab and the wellness, because it's that two-way referring road. If they're identifying things that someone's coming in and they're unable to perform the activities they were doing, or maybe they took a fall and they need someone to take a look at that, then bam, we pick them up for some skilled, get them right back to the wellness when they're recovered. And likewise, I mean, our goal is to always have someone continue on with some sort of wellness, whether it be on their own or with the ZoeLife, ZoeCare program, it doesn't matter.
Well, and that's been the whole thing about ZoeLife, is it's proactive, not reactive. And so, I mean, Steve has, and I'm sure you've talked to our residents, have helped people when they move here, and they just thought they were lazy, or they just thought they didn't have any ambition, and then he turns them into these working out machines. And so if they do like strain a back or something, instead of it being an emergency or terrible, they could come see you. I mean,
absolutely. It's it's a very value-added service, and I always tell the residents, no problem is too small, or you thinking, oh, I've had this for 10 years.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if you've had pain, whether it be chronic or more acute natured, or whether you've walked with a limp, or you couldn't ever walk all the way over to the bistro to get a sandwich, it doesn't matter how long it's happened. That doesn't mean that we just check it off that you're 85 years old and we're going to give up on you. That's our seniors are living longer and being active longer because of programs and services like this.
Well,
I'm excited.
I'm excited because I know PT, OT speech in a confined setting like what we have, and I'm leaning on IL right now, is to bring you guys into the fold and be a part of some of the data that we're collecting in terms of changing into more of a Mediterranean plant-based diet, getting the hydration, getting the workouts, getting the university lectures, turn on the mind, and now have this clinical component alongside that to see where our data changes and to see how that evolves. It's fun to think about, right? Because that model is truly how senior living should be. I mean, that's what gets me so excited. I know you too, is like, this is what we're creating here, needs to be the example and the North Star to senior living as a whole. And having that in-house therapy wellness mindset, and especially in our campus size of 40 acres and our walking paths, it's like, that's what gives me goosebumps.
Me too. And just as you're talking, I'm thinking you're going to recognize people that have probably just lived with something. Because I know we all do that. Both you and I have. You've had a neck issue. I have a back issue. And you end up, because of convenience, and you just don't go. And now I'm going to be going. Anyway, but I think you can help people live a better life that really haven't been able to work out because they have a kink somewhere. I love this.
No, it's very cool. Okay, let's touch on ZoeCare.
Yes.
ZoeCare is one of these initiatives that I am like heart palpitations because I'm so excited about, because right now, because of COVID a little bit, we've touched on AL, we've been in skilled, we've had some success, and then COVID shut the door out. The beauty of ZoeCare and working strategically with that AL leadership team is in their care planning, we get to dovetail ZoeLife in, and we get to immerse these residents with their normal quality of life stuff that AL provides, but then here comes ZoeLife, and we get to add in their care plan, so we have to do it, activities and spirituality and nutrition and lectures and pool, and they get to like build a cake of ingredients. I want a little pool, I want a little more of this, I want a little of that, and now here comes you guys on that clinical side. So talk about, because you were already in the space of skilled and AL, but what is that model thing? I mean, the ZoeCare to you?
Assisted living is always kind of one of those in-betweeners. It's like, you're not completely independent at independent living, but you're not in a skilled nursing facility where you have nurses and CNAs and therapy there 7 days a week. So it's very exciting for our assisted living residents, because now they're going to have exposure and access to the same exact care. So we will get them into the clinic and exercise as much as we can, come to them at the assisted living if they're unable to make it to us, provide that skilled care and that handoff to the ZoeCare program. So again, just because you're in assisted living doesn't mean that you can never get to independent living. Many times you leave from the nursing facility and you're maybe not quite ready to go back to independent living, but you need that step down.
Yes.
So we a lot of times can use the assisted living kind of as the next level of care, so to speak. Have some more independent functioning, have them resuming some of their independent lifestyle, getting the services that they need from therapy, and then maybe 3-4 weeks later, bam, now they're ready to go back to their apartment and be completely independent. So there's a lot of dynamics and a lot of need in the assisted livings, whether it be for memory care, physical limitations, you name it.
Well, okay, so you are still working in the skilled
Yes.
building, and is it still downstairs?
It's still downstairs in the basement. Yep.
Okay, so the room that you're using in the wellness, like between the performance center, that's for independent living and probably some assisted living.
Yep.
But then you also will help people in skilled nursing.
Yeah,
like
we'll kind of be
always.
all over. So you're going to see, Betty, the therapist, physical therapist, from one setting to the next. So that continuity of care and that trust and that relationship we formed at whatever level it is going to continue. And the nice thing is we're going to know, hey, Betty's got a daughter that comes and brings her groceries, and she's got 3 grandkids, and she, loves to play bingo on Wednesdays, and she cross stitches. We're going to know all these fun little details and really get to know the people we work with. And likewise, they're going to get to know us and our staff. And so we'll have that care of continuum of comfort and reliability and trust, I guess.
Well, that you hit the nail on the head. And my next question is, how many therapists on your team are on our campus? And is it, at this point, I know you're building, so
Right.
it's like, but you just nailed it. So they will start with the therapist, and it's not like next time it might be somebody else, and then some, which can happen, especially during COVID and staffing shortage. So
Absolutely.
you're saying right now to start, it'll be that same person that's going to be locked in.
It's going to be designated staff. Now, if they're on vacation or off, it's going to be the same facility campus staff, but we always try to have some introduction and some handoff, so that, maybe the staff that's going to be covering for a week on vacation, they'll go with the therapist to their next visit and say, hey, this is Tom. He's going to be here this next week, and he's going to continue to work with him. I'm filled him in on everything going on with you and what you've been working on with us. So there's that nice introduction handoff. It's not just going to be like someone knocking on your door and you're going, who are you? I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's no holes. I mean, you
Seamless.
fill them all, really. I mean, if people have to be in their home,
Yep.
you're going to come see them. If people are in skilled, or if they want to come to independent, come downstairs and work out.
And the data and the outcomes is going to be amazing because, no longer can you just verbally, subjectively say, yeah, we're doing a great job. Like anybody can say that. But the outcomes and functional measures that we achieve, in the through our documentation and assessments, it gives us that objective hard data to say, hey, this is how they came in at, this is where they left at. So we can gauge and mark actually how much improvement they actually made for walking, for transferring, for activities of daily living, dressing skills, all of that. So it's going to really, marketability, and it's just nice. It's like watching children grow up. You never realize they grew until you look at a picture from 3 years ago and you're like, wow, you're like a foot and a half taller, So it's like that, taking people to say, you came in doing only this, and now look, you're doing all of this. And that's just nice to know.
It is one more reason why people move into continuum of care, because
Absolutely.
they don't, one of their biggest worries is, what if I can't drive?
Yep.
Right?
Yep,
I
yep.
can't get to an appointment. And so that took that right off the
Absolutely.
worry plate. So
Absolutely.
this is such a good solution.
It's exciting. And I think the Performance Center and what we've created for that hub down there,
Oh, it's awesome.
I mean, your
Isn't it
therapist
great?
walks in like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
this is my sweet spot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a tiny little closet room
No.
with a few pieces. I mean, we've got an amazing performance center. We've got great staff already there. The foundation is laid. It's a matter of us just adding on to that foundation and building another bedroom and working together to make it complete.
Well,
Yeah.
it's here.
I'm
so once
excited.
again, we have 2 minutes left. Tell them wherever they can get you. Because
yes.
we've got these in the Performance Center. We got them at the front desk and admin.
Yep.
We've got these concierge
seen 'em all
has them.
over,
They're
yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
So explain it.
So this is our trifold. We co-brand because we're Health Pro Heritage doesn't want to take all the credit, and we're on Glencroft campus, and so we co-branded a nice little trifold pamphlet that has some information for anybody interested. It talks about what the therapy services look like, what they can expect, and then there's some good information on there. So you can contact us one of two different ways. You can either go to Carol up at the administration building. Pretty much any of the department heads of any of the settings has our information, as well as you can call 623-847-3109. That will ring directly to Carol at the admin. If she's not at her desk, leave us a message. She'll get those messages to us, and then we will follow right back up with you and get that ball rolling. But it's a good little informational packet, something you can take with you, take home, show your family, your loved ones about,
Absolutely.
and
And I know because I've been fielding a lot of questions for you in terms of the insurance,
Yes.
what you guys take. So please just call that number too with any of your
Absolutely.
insurance questions. And you can walk through what's accepted, what's not, your cash pay scenarios, all of that.
Yep. And if we find there's a large, volume like TRICARE or an insurance plan that we don't take, we're more than happy to apply for a contract with those insurance companies so that you can have that access to that care. So.
Oh, wow,
Hey.
this has been awesome.
It's been awesome, and our time's up. That was 26
Oh,
minutes just
wow.
locked in. I mean, I knew we only had one guest because
Good
this was
thing
going to
we
be a lot.
scripted it.
Yeah.
Like usual.
That's usually our MO. So, Jeff, again, thank you. Thanks for
Yes.
being a part of this team. I can't wait to see where we are a year from now.
gonna be great.
And
Me
just
neither. I'm
everything
going.
that's coming. I mean,
I
it's
know.
exciting. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, we look forward to it.
Awesome.
All right.